I'm Ariel Sly, and this is my persuasive speech. Making immunizations mandatory. Did you know that 1 in 10 infants worldwide do not receive immunizations? Meaning only 86% of children receive all 3 doses of their Tdap shots, which are tetanus and polio. The developing world, lots of children die because of diseases like measles, mumps, and malaria, which most have pretty much been eradicated in the U.S. due to immunizations. So why are they not eradicated in the developing worlds? Because they don't have access to the immunizations, because they live in poverty. Reasons why other people can't receive immunizations: because they are immunocompromised, because they may have allergies to the immunizations, like the flu, for instance. If you have allergies to eggs, then you cannot receive the flu vaccination. So if there are people who do not have the means or the opportunity to get their children's immunizations and vaccines, and there are people who cannot just not physically receive them, why do the other people that are perfectly healthy have the choice whether or not they want to? And by not receiving your immunizations, that puts everybody else at risk. So why would they not be mandatory? We go by a guideline called herd immunity. That means that herd immunity is an indirect form of protection. It occurs when a large percent of the population becomes immune to an infection. So that would be saying that 90 to 95% of the population would have to be immune to a disease to have that herd immunity. So the people that cannot receive vaccinations depend on that herd immunity to keep them safe. There are 5 main reasons why you should vaccinate your child. It can save your child's life. Your child can be protected against many different diseases. Vaccines are very safe and effective. There is a lot that goes into creating a vaccine. They go through a lot of different steps, a lot of different testing, and a lot of money is put into it. They may cause some discomfort, but the outcome is way better than contracting the disease. Immunizations protect people you care about, your babies, your family members, and everything else. It may save your family money and time. By vaccinating your child versus not, say your child contracts mumps. Think about all that time that you're going to miss from work and everything else. All that money that you're going to miss from missing work because you're at home with your child. That money that you spend on doctor's visits, on medications, and everything else versus the small copay that you may pay just to get that vaccine. Immunizations also protect the future generations. Vaccines have reduced and eliminated some of the diseases that took so many lives and generations and a couple generations ago. Examples of smallpox, which has been eradicated in the United States, but not in all other countries. Some reasons that parents choose not to vaccinate their children: there's many concerns. Some people say so many so early. A fully vaccinated child is 2 years old. A couple generations ago, in the 70s and 80s, there was only vaccinations for 8 different diseases. Now there's 14. They say that their child has an immature immune system and it should be better to wait, or can they just get a few rather than all of them? That's not the case. It doesn't work that way. It just leads to prolonged susceptibility of disease. Vaccinations contain toxins, things like mercury, aluminum, formaldehyde, and antifreeze. Vaccines are mostly made of water and antigens, a few other ingredients to stabilize the solutions used to contain it. There was Thimerosal, which is used as a preservative, and when it breaks down into ethyl mercury. That was removed from all vaccinations in the year of 2001. Vaccines also contain aluminum salt. It is used to stimulate the immune system and to make the vaccine actually work better. And it also increases your antibody production, making the vaccine more effective. Some people say that they don't work. Like they use the flu vaccine, for instance. When you get the flu vaccine, infectious disease specialists have to decide on what strain of flu that they think is going to come about in the next flu season. That doesn't mean it's always right. They may choose one strain of the flu and it could be completely wrong. But choosing a flu vaccine versus a polio vaccine is not the same by any means. There is not multiple strains of polio. There's just one. Vaccine courts. They make vaccine courts because in some crazy cases, there may be an insane side effect, which is very rare. But that's why the vaccine courts are there, is because if this happens, you are compensated for all of it. You are compensated for medical costs. You are compensated for everything. Some people think that pharmaceutical companies and doctors are just out to make money, but they're just the same as any other manufacturing company. Everybody's out to make money. That is not what it's all about. Some parents think that their side effects of vaccines are worse than the disease, which is also not true. It takes 10 to 15 years to form a new vaccine. It is tested in adults before it even touches the children. Let's take tetanus, for instance. Things that happen when you contract tetanus: you get spontaneous spasms and a stiff jaw, stiff neck. It is very hard to swallow. You get stiff abdominal muscles, and you get very, very painful body spasms that last several minutes, that can be triggered from something as simple as a loud noise or a small physical touch or even light. Other symptoms that are also come with tetanus: you get a high fever, you sweat a lot, you get really high blood pressure and a very rapid heart rate. A small fever and nausea with some joint pain sounds way worse than the actual disease, right? Forcing vaccination is a violation of your rights. Big joke to me. We call those people that feel that way anti-vaxxers. So what right do those people have that cannot be vaccinated? None. They depend on that herd immunity from everybody to keep them safe, to keep their children safe. You always have to weigh the pros and the cons in every situation. In this case, the pros outweigh the cons by a drastic measure. Just imagine a world full of disease: polio, a viral infection of your nervous system that causes crippling paralysis with hours, within hours. Take measles. That is a respiratory infection that in 2003 killed over 500,000 children. That is more than any other preventable vaccine. More than any other preventable disease by a vaccine. This is a world that you can prevent so much disease, but people choose not to. Why? Because it is a violation of their rights, because they feel it doesn't work, because they might get some side effects, or because a little poke in their child's leg may cause the slightest amount of pain. Does that seem fair? Yes, we live in a place where you do have a choice, but should we or should we not give our children the immunizations? Unfortunately, not everybody has that choice. I feel that immunizations and vaccines should be mandatory unless you are not physically able to receive them. For my closing statement, I want you all to think about this. How would you feel if it was your child that contracted a deadly disease because someone else chose not to vaccinate theirs? Thank you.
But you know what? There's one thing